Our second inductee is Ken Bowman, Menlo College head baseball coach from 2003 to 2008. A Menlo mainstay, Coach Bowman spent 20 years at Menlo College as a coach and administrator. A 1975 graduate of the University of San Francisco, Coach Bo began his coaching career in the late 70s and made his way to Atherton in 2000. After spending 2 seasons as an assistant coach, he was promoted to head coach, a role in which he thrived from 2003 to 2008. In that time, Bowman racked up a record 111 wins, the first coach in the history of Menlo College baseball to reach triple-digit victories. His record has been surpassed, but only once. He now ranks as the coach with the second most wins in program history. The Bowman family roots run deep at Menlo. Ken's sons, Scott and Jeff, both played for their dad, and their names appeared frequently in the Menlo record books. In 2008, Coach Bo stepped down from coaching to shift his focus to the Menlo College Office of Admissions, where he spent time as an admissions counselor before being promoted to the director of the admissions office. Over 2 decades, Ken Bowman contributed an immense amount of service to Menlo College. Ken is the 12th head coach inducted into the Menlo College Athletics Hall of Fame and the first since Caitlin Collier was inducted in 2017. Please welcome to the stage 2022 Menlo College Hall of Fame inductee, Ken Bowman.
Wow, I just had a hip surgery. I didn't think I could get up these stairs. I was a little nervous coming tonight, and so I thought I'd put on my baseball uniform, and then my wife told me I couldn't wear it. So here, first of all, I want to congratulate the other inductees. It's an honor going in with you all. And a special thanks to Keith Larson. It's really special. 2 San Bruno guys, 2 Crestmore High School guys. Who would ever think that would happen? Not us. And there's some teachers that are shaking their heads. Keith, Stephen, I'm humble, grateful, excuse me, for this opportunity. You made my day, my family. I can never thank you enough. I appreciate whatever you got, what you did for me. And you talked about success. Keith is right. When we first got down here 20 years ago, 22, we had a great AD, but I'm not sure he had all the support that he needed. And the last 10 years with Stephen and Keith, it's amazing to me. I'm not surprised. What's the saying, Keith? Put your foot to the metal or something like that?
All gas, no brakes.
He does that a lot. But I love him. You don't coach for a long time unless you have a great family support, and I did have that. My wife, Chris, my 2 sons, Jeff and Scott, they've been with me forever. No matter if we won or lost, I was still dad, and I still had to take the garbage out. And so I want to thank you all. In fact, my wife, I met her as a freshman in high school, but I fell in love with her in 8th grade. In fact, the guy who introduced me to her is here, Mike Palmer. And Mike, she still is kind of upset with you. But, so be it. But she used to keep charts when I pitched and in high school and in college. And then when I coached, she would take comments from what the fans were saying about me. So after a game, when I played, she'd say, hey, they're throwing too many balls. You got to get ahead and stop giving up home runs. And by the way, why did you take our sons out of the game? And I said, well, that's part of baseball. I said, but I really want to know what the fans are saying. She said, you don't want to hear that. I said, no, I do. I'm man enough to hear that. She goes, well, one of the comments was that you're so skinny you could tread water in a test tube. So beautiful. And if I had hair on my chest, I'd look like a toothbrush. From that point on, I never asked her again what the fans were saying. I didn't care. Moving forward, coming to Menlo was really right time, right place. My wife and I was invited to a wedding. In fact, Coach Ramos is here. And Keith Larson happened to be there. And all he talked about that night was about Menlo. And I knew a little bit about it because I had a couple players at USF when I was a junior college, but I really didn't know too much about it. And he kept on and on about, hey, Bo, I think this is the right place for you. It could work out. People are great. Athletics was really, basketball was flying high. Football was amazing. You got to come down. We can make it work. So he invited Chris and I to the Hall of Fame dinner of all time. Can you imagine 22 years later we're here, Keith? But, and I could tell it was a place I wanted to be. And the next day or next week, he invited me down to the football game. And God, they were good. What a football team that was. But then I met people like the Inwalls and Blair Nagels and Jay Suttons, and it goes on and on. And I knew it was the right place for me. It worked. I love a small college atmosphere. And because of that, it worked out. But he did say one thing. He said two things, actually. He said, one, the pay's not going to be very good. Right, Keith? Or did you get paid? You got paid. Yeah. The pay's not very good, but, somehow it's going to work. Well, 22 years or 20 years, it did work, Keith. I owe everything to you on that. The journey of coaching has been somewhat interesting. I started my journey at the University of San Francisco. I took over from a guy named Dante Benedetti, who was a legendary coach in San Francisco. And when I took over, I happened to be the youngest coach in Division I. I thought I invented the game of baseball. Boy, did I have things to learn. I didn't know how to accept the losses. It hit me hard. I didn't enjoy the wins because I was worried about the next day. And it was tough. But then I had this fantastic mentor. His name was Father Bob Sutherland. He had a title. You might be familiar with the kid. He was vice president and athletic director there. For some reason, he liked me. And I don't know why he remembered me when I played there, but then he just thought I could make it. But every year he'd bring me in. And by the way, how many Menlo coaches are here now? Raise your hand. Let me tell you something. If any of you guys think it's tough going to see Coach Batar at the end of the year, it's nothing like going to see a Parisi. It's a whole different ballgame. But every year he would say the same thing to me. He would say, make sure you be competitive, make sure your players graduate, enjoy the win, take time, enjoy the win, and don't take the losses so hard. Well, that didn't happen until I got the memo. It finally kicked in. I was a slow learner, but it finally kicked in. Oh, the other thing I should say, unfortunately, and I was thrown out over 100 games at USF. And I didn't know that, but he told me that. So that was the other report. So his report was, graduate the players, be competitive, don't take the losses so hard, enjoy the wins, and don't get thrown out of any games. And like I said, it finally happened at Menlo. In fact, I got here and I realized umpires were actually nice people. It's not their fault. They can't see and they have poor judgment. I mean, it happens. I understand that. Tonight I'm being honored, and actually I should honor Menlo. They gave me a chance to have a second family. I had a chance to coach both my boys. My wife loved it because there was only one place she had to go to watch all three of us. My daughter-in-law graduated from Menlo. So I'm just amazed. I'm always going to be indebted, and Menlo will always hold a special spot in my heart. I just realized I missed the most important people too. I forgot to introduce, typical name, is my daughter-in-laws, Casey and Shara, and the 4 grandkids, Jack, Maddie, Isla, and Lena. Thank you for making the Bowman family complete. I really appreciate that. And finally, the last group of people, and I know I'm over my time. I know the last.
Help me.
Huh?
They'll help me.
I know, I figured that. A lot of people are the players. What made Menlo special was the players. There's a couple here tonight. Could you guys stand up? school. I got my shirt on. But I must say, these guys were unbelievable. I got to apologize to you four and all the others because I always played the same music when I threw batting practice. And they didn't like my music. I liked Pink, Get the Party Started. But I would play it hours and hours. And they'd get upset with me. But who cares? I'm the coach. I like Pink. So I'm sorry about that, guys. But you know what? Because of you guys, I think we changed baseball a little bit here when I was here. You guys graduated, you did everything right. And I can tell you up front, it's the best baseball job I've ever had. And I knew that. The other thing I used to do is always tell a joke, and I know this last thing, Coach, last thing, at practice, I would always tell a joke before practice or after practice or a baseball shirt. So I figured I'd do the same thing tonight. And it's clean. It's clean. So it goes like this. Keith Spataro, Ken Bowman were friends for 25 years. For some reason, he was a wrestler, baseball guy, but they got along. They made a pact. They said whoever would get to heaven first would tell the other guy if there's wrestling or if there's baseball. Unfortunately, Keith passed first. 10 years later, I'm walking to the baseball field there in Menlo, and all of a sudden Keith appeared. And man, he looked good. He lost a little hair, but he looked good. It was good seeing him, and we talked. And finally, I said, tell me what's going on. He goes, well, Paul, there's good news and bad news. I said, well, give me the good news. He said, baseball's incredible in that. Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle. I said, what can be wrong? What's wrong? He goes, you're coaching tomorrow's game. Anyway, thank you very much.